Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a quorum. We're just waiting for our chair who's on his way up right now. Ryan, we're ready to live stream.
Good evening. It is 5:34. We will call the meeting to order and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item C, roll call. Commissioner Member Holloway. Present. Commissioner Member Smith. Commissioner Member Bauer. Here. Commissioner Member Gonzalez.
Present.
Commissioner Member Abong.
Here.
Commissioner Member Lewis.
Here.
Ex officio Member Dupont.
Present.
Ex officio Member Boyle. And just for record, Commissioner Member Smith and ex officio Boyle were not present. Chair, I would like to remind the members of the audience that if they wish to speak to address the Recreation and Parks Commission, they must submit a green request to speak form located at the podium in the back of the council chamber. Additionally, citizens can submit a public comment to the Recreation and Parks Commission electronically no later than 1 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Comments received before the deadline will be sent to the Recreation and Parks Commission and will be part of the record and will be mentioned as part of the public comment portion of the agenda. Material may be emailed to recreation@cityofmerced.gov and should be limited to 300 words or less. Any correspondence received after 1 p.m. will be distributed to the Recreation and Parks Commission and retained for the official record. Agenda item D, public comment. Members of the public who wish to speak on the listed agenda item may speak during this portion of the meeting and will be allotted 3 minutes. The chair may oppose a further limit to the time available for all speakers at the discretion of the Parks and Recreation Commission in order to accommodate as many speakers as possible. Chair, at this time, I have one request to speak. We'll hear from Barbara Ward. Please come forward to the podium.
If it's an agendized item, we need to wait. If it's agendized. If it's agendized item, we'll wait for that item.
Okay, so I will continue with the next agenda item. Agenda item E, consent calendar. Agenda item E1, Recreation and Parks Commission, minutes of January 26, 2026.
Commissioners, do I have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
We have a second?
I have a motion by Commissioner Member Bauer and a second from Commissioner Member Lewis. Commissioner members, please cast your vote. All right. A motion passes unanimously. Agenda item F, public hearing. F1, public hearing consideration of application to name the stage in Bob Hart Square Plaza. Report in brief, requesting commission's consideration of the application for naming the stage in Bob Hart Square Plaza, Merced Rotary Stage.
Ms. Johnson,
Yeah.
before we go forward, could you acknowledge city council members here present?
Okay. For ex officio member Boyle, she's currently present. Okay. So Chair, currently for public hearing section F1, I have 4 requests to speak forms.
Just for background information on this agenda item before we take public comment, your city charter authorizes the commission to review any applications to name public facilities, including recreation facilities. This application was submitted several months ago, so thank you to Merced Rotary for your patience and diligence with our office. Before you tonight is an application to name the stage at Bob Hart Square Plaza. You each have a screening form that's just used as a reference guide to help you delineate some of the opportunities and commitments that Merced Rotary has made to support their application. It's not a formal document, it's just for your reference. And after public comment, we would ask the applicant to read their application or their letter that they submitted in support of their application. And then the commission will be asked to make a recommendation, a formal motion with a recommendation for city council's final approval.
Okay, so I do have a correction 1 request to speak form. So at this moment, we'll have Barbara Ward come up to the podium.
My name is Barbara Ward. I'm president of Merced Rotary. I live at 1583 Buenaventura Drive in Merced. The Merced Rotary Club is pleased to formally request the naming rights of the new stage in Bob Hart Square. In support of this request, we're offering a contribution of $50,000, as well as funding for an appropriate plaque or signage for the stage in accordance with the city's specifications. Merced Rotary Club has been in the Merced community for 104 years. It was our 104th birthday on March 1st. And we have always been the downtown Merced Rotary Club. We're founded in 1922. Our meetings were held initially at the El Capitan Hotel. And we take great pride in seeing the hotel revitalized, standing as a reminder of our club's origins. Many of our members work in, own property in, and actively support the downtown corridor, recognizing the critical importance of investing in its continued growth and vitality. You may know that we have contributed to numerous capital projects throughout the community, including Rotary Cove 1 and 2 out at Lake Yosemite, the shade structure at Rahilly Park, the Scout Hut in Applegate Park, and most recently, the scoreboard at El Capitan High School. However, we've not yet had the opportunity to make a significant capital investment in downtown Merced, where our roots lie, and we're truly excited for the chance to do so with this project. Our commitment extends beyond the naming rights. This club is eager to support the arts in downtown Merced by sponsoring talent and performances on the stage for community enjoyment. Downtown has become a vibrant highlight of our city, and we are proud to play a role in supporting its momentum. Finally, much of the millions of dollars we've invested in the community over the years comes from private funds and small donors. It's important that these donors see the lasting impact of their generosity. Naming the stage in Bob Hart Square, the Merced Rotary Stage, would serve not only as a visible reminder of their contributions doing good, but also as a testament to the power of community involvement and the importance of supporting Rotary. This recognition would also strengthen our ability to continue raising funds and giving back to our community. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration of our request.
Any questions from the commissioners? None. Thank you. What, you do have, we do have a question. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I have a question. I heard you say you'd be willing to sponsor those who wanted the stage. I know the current pricing is about $100 an hour to rent out the stage. How would you guys consider an applicant to be sponsored? Like, what would you recommend?
Oh, we would probably choose someone for us to sponsor and then pay for that.
So they wouldn't go to you guys would choose
No,
sponsors?
no.
Okay.
We're not going to be the.
So what, can I answer maybe? Hi, I'm Brenda Callahan Johnson. Do I have to give my address? Okay. So what we were told is that it was the city, and this may have changed. What we were told some months ago is that the city was going to be sponsoring 5 to 6 musical artists at the stage during the course of the year. And so we would be willing to sponsor. The cost is about $1,200 a performer is what I've told. Obviously that fluctuates, and so we would have to talk about as that fluctuates. But we would be willing to sponsor some of those performances.
If I can
Does that answer the
elaborate.
question?
Just to elaborate from staff perspective as well, as you mentioned, the city's been developing policies and user fees associated with the facility. In our conversations with Merced Rotary, the goal is to utilize the contribution to help sponsor. What we proposed was, to Ms. Johnson's point, about $1,000 commitment per performance, which is about in line with what we're looking at for naming rights moving forward for other venues. That would get us approximately 5 years worth of naming rights for that $50,000 through that $50,000 commitment. So that's what we're hoping for, is to support basically 5 years of funding being allocated from this donation to our Arts and Culture Commission, which would then be the hiring entity for those performers.
Thank you. Even though there was one card, I open it up to any community member that would like to speak. Anybody else? Nope. Thank you. So, yeah. Commissioners, any discussion among us?
sorry. Who can rent the stage? Is there anybody who wants to pay up?
Correct. I appreciate that, yes. So the way that the city utilizes venues for public use there's two methods. There can be private rentals, which means they're reserved for very specific uses, and there can be rentals for public events. So indoor facilities, shade structures, stages, they can be rented for private performances, which we would work with the vendor to make sure that those were safeguarded against just any additional attendance. Those additional fees related to safeguarding that with barricades and things like that would be paid for by the vendor or the user. If they're open to the community, it is $150 an hour to rent the stage. And we have a facility use agreement that requires insurance coverage, and there's some other stipulations in there related to setup time, cleanup time, et cetera, that is provided pro bono. So they're not charged for those times, but any actual performance time or stage use time would be required. It is a public facility, so much like the moat at Applegate Park, people can, gather there if they want to. It's an open public space, but if it is reserved, those that may be in attendance for any other reason are required to leave. With the reservation, we do prep the facility as well. So we go through, we clean it beforehand, we pressure wash it, blow it down, make sure that it's clean of any other potential users or debris. And then there is access to electrical as well.
Do we have any events that the park's doing there this year? Like anything planned at the stage?
Yes, we have a concert series through the City Arts Commission, and that the goal is to have a once a month concert in the park in Bob Hart Square. We also have four community large scale events, applications that are being processed through our office right now. I believe the first one is in April, which is Lao New Year, followed by Hmong American Day. I might be getting the order wrong. And then we also have a event in June to support the rodeo in Merced, which will be the Western America Heritage Day, or Western Heritage Day. So those events are on, and an art festival downtown.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We do have another public member. Please state your name and your comment.
Well, I was curious if there's gonna be a minimum hour use for the stage, if there's electricity or if it has equipment, and then how it'll affect the Mercado, if that's still gonna continue.
So Mercado isn't a city-ran event. It is ran by the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So I know there's been discussions. Our hope is that with the investment in the area, that most events will be taken off of the street and utilize Bob Hart Square for those productions and performances, which is why something like this is a worthwhile application to potentially support those. So electricity is provided. Irene, do you recall if there's a 2-hour minimum use, like some of a 2-hour minimum use? With those 2 hours, you get 2 hours for setup and cleanup, so an hour beforehand and an hour after.
Okay. Any further comments from commissioners?
Sorry, I'm gonna keep going. Have we had anyone else apply, or this is our first applicant for the stage?
No, the city did not solicit applications. This
Okay.
application was submitted individually by Merced Rotary.
Got it, thank you.
You're welcome.
And just to make sure, this is much like the other naming, it's gonna be in perpetuity. It's not a 5-year, 10-year, nothing like that. It's forever.
That's, right now, the city does not have a policy that indicates a certain set number of years. My recommendation would be that the Merced Rotary reconvene their group after the 5-year commitment of funding for the performances are expired, and see if there's interest in ongoing naming rights, but right now there is no time, there is no term.
Okay. No, keep going. Go ahead.
Sorry, I heard that the lake is no longer part of the parks anymore.
It's MID.
Yeah. Does the Rotary, can I ask them a question? Are you guys still have those sections in the lake even though it's no longer part of the parks? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, for those listening at home, she also mentioned the same for Rahilly Park. Okay.
And then just for public and commissioner edification, the lake is not within the city boundaries, so the lake was managed by the county of Merced through a contract with Merced Irrigation District. That contract expired, went out to bid, and was not re-awarded to Merced County for operation. So any facilities that might be part of that are still part of that contract with MID. The operation is yet to be determined who outside of MID would be running that facility.
Okay. Further comments, questions? No? Do we have a motion to approve the request today? Yeah, go ahead. My apologies for everyone, I have to say perfect language. So, we're asking to recommend or not recommend to move this forward to the city council. Do we have a motion?
I motion.
We have a motion?
Yeah.
Mr. Blanc,
I second.
second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Member Bong and a second by Commissioner Member Bauer. Commissioners, please cast your votes. Motion passes unanimously.
I don't think it was reset from the first vote.
I'm sorry?
I don't think it was reset from the first
Oh.
vote. Can you reset it, please?
All right, let me reset. And you guys can cast, commission members, you guys can cast your votes. Okay, motion passes unanimously.
All right, congratulations, Merced Rotary Club. So just for reminder, the commission will submit their formal recommendation to city council. We'll follow up with the applicant on the date that's set for council to review the recommendation. Thank you.
The public hearing is now closed. We will continue with the next agenda item. Item G, reports. G1, Parks and Community Services Department updates.
Good evening, Commissioners. Christopher Jensen, Director of Parks and Community Services. Each month, we try to give you an update on where we're at with our programs, our capital improvement projects, and any concerns you may have brought up from the month before. So happy to be here in this capacity for your review of our report this month. Tonight's report will include our mission goals and priorities, any staffing updates that we may have, capital improvement project updates, and updates on programs. Our mission goals and priorities for this year included leadership, facility and field management, recreational opportunities, cost reduction and revenue increases, and quality of life. I'm happy to report that most of your staff from Parks and Community Services will be attending a leadership conference through Parks Recreation Society, California Parks and Recreation Society next week. Myself, a coordinator, as well as a field and facility worker, two of which will be their first time in attendance, so we're looking to build that capacity. We also submitted in next year's city manager's requested budget, additional funding to send one, if not two commissioners to the same conference next year. So our hope is to invest in your leadership capacity as well. You may recall several months ago, we had Steve Hoggle attend from California Park and Rec Society Advocacy Branch, and he came and gave a presentation on the Rec Society, what it offers commissioners and staff, and encourage your attendance. So we made sure to set aside an appropriation in our request for next year for your attendance. Field and facility management, we really honed in our fee schedule this year. The past few years, we've been moving away from subsidizing external party use of fields and facilities. It wasn't an easy change, especially for a lot of our routine users of fields and facilities through the city of Merced. It's an expensive business to do recreation, and we're really supportive of those practitioners and partners that have came with us along this path to be self-sufficient and requiring less and less from the general fund as far as allocation. A couple of major significant updates in this year's budget. This is the first year since the conception of the Boys and Girls Club contract where the city has paid $0 to the operation of that facility. Kudos to the Boys and Girls Club of Merced County for stepping up to the plate, increasing their memberships, their operations, their grant funding, et cetera. It's made a big difference for our operation to be able to be sustainable as well. And I think they've gone above and beyond in the past few years in making that partnership more fulfilling for this commission and our city. In addition, we've been investing in machinery and technology to help alleviate some of the ongoing costs associated with field and facility maintenance. So several of you may have gotten an invitation recently for this Friday's demonstration of our AB iForce infield machine. Basically, it takes the utility of three different separate pieces of equipment, combines it into one, and it reduces the number of staff that are required to prep our ball fields, mainly softball and baseball. Also earlier this year, we invested in a turf tank, which is a field striping robot. What used to take staff 3 to 4 hours on a Saturday to position football fields or baseball fields is now taking a robot 20 minutes after it's programmed. So we've had a huge success with that investment and look forward to continuing to decrease our costs and increase our revenues in that regard. I'll also share that we are partnering with our youth sports organizations that typically we make other arrangements with to cover operating costs. Sometimes it's field paint that's donated, sometimes it's dirt. It could be sodding a field, it could be helping cover a light bill. The past 2 years, we've really buttoned up our fee schedule for facility use, and both the soccer organizations, baseball, softball, basketball organizations have really stepped up to the plate, pun intended, we are in recreation, and shared that burden of cost. And we've had a great partnership to this point, and even in the face of fees have continued to maintain that liberal operation where they are still contributing above and beyond what the field use fees are. So I want to thank those organizations for continuing their support of our operation. Recreation opportunities, we are constantly looking for grants and partnerships to expand what we do as a community to offer recreation, outdoor recreation, indoor recreation, and community services. Later this evening, you'll be reviewing an RFP that we put out earlier this year. What we can't do through our internal services directly, we operate through contracts and facilities for other partner organizations to extend and expand what's offered as far as recreation in our community. So we have different mediums with which we offer recreation. I will say one of the biggest barriers to participation is typically the cost associated with participation. So this year, very happy to report again that we were able to obtain extended learning opportunity program funding through Merced City School District, which funded upwards of 700 youth participating in NFL flag football, junior NBA basketball. It's a new program this year, and junior Giants baseball. And that investment is significant from that district. It also allows us to keep safeguarded the $8,000 scholarship allocation that your city council has dedicated to our department to ensure that no child or family that cost may be too high of a burden to participate in is subsidized. So I want to thank both the district and council for those ongoing investments. We've also submitted an additional application to fund next year the same extended learning opportunity program funding to ensure that those same families or new families have the opportunity to get free services once again next fiscal year. Cost reductions and revenue increases, again, just reflecting on some of the cost-saving measures that we've taken on, asking school districts to help reduce the cost of our department to operate programs. We also received a $200,000 donation this year from a private donor out of Fresno to support Merced Applegate Zoo, which paid for a zookeeper for the next 3 years. And we're constantly looking for other grants to cover staffing costs or operation costs. Recently, we submitted and were approved a proof of concept proposal for an outdoor recreation program called the Trailblazers. The goal of that is to increase youth employment opportunities and training through our department. So using young people in our community to get out and operate and run our special events such as Movies in the Park, the Block Party Trailer, et cetera. So our staffing costs are low while still providing mentorship and vocational training to young people to do recreation through our community and get that workforce development. As far as quality of life, continuing to look for ways to make sure that Merced residents and visitors have a high standard as far as quality of life goes. Unfortunately, there are activities that take place sometimes in our open spaces, our trails and parks that make them not the best setting to bring people to, and so we want to take those spaces back and program them to the point where there's not an opportunity for nefarious activities to come in and start taking over. So I really appreciate our staff support for investing the time and resources into making sure that that's happening. We've also made sure to carry out a new update to our Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Master Plan. So many of you have been on tours over the last year, been involved in focus group meetings, or heard some form of reports from me as far as what that process, where we're at with that process. We are looking at being about 90% complete with that plan. We'll be coming to you at the end of this month and then to council in April to get the final blessing to adopt that plan, which will set the course for our investments and our programming for the next 5 to 10 years for the City of Merced Recreation. Staffing. What's important to note in regards to staffing, I think, is our non-traditional partnerships. We're one of the only organizations in the City of Merced that constantly recruits volunteers. So Merced Applegate Zoo, some of our sports programs, we do allow for volunteers to participate in those. They are screened and background checked just like standard employee practices, but it really expands what we're able to do for this community with limited cost burden to the city. Of specific note is our relationship with UC Merced right now and their College Corps program. We have about 4 to 7 UC Merced students that are actively engaged in our department, getting workforce development, work experience, and face-to-face contact with our community through our operation. We do have a recreation supervisor position that's been open since October of last year. And I'm hoping that they will be able to join us for our April meeting, and we will make a formal introduction to the commission. But the position has been offered and accepted to a gentleman out of the Bay Area. So we're excited to get him on board and in front of you for an introduction. Little bit about capital improvement projects. Merced Regional Sports Complex, typically referred to as CP42, is still in construction. I'll give you a brief update on the next slide. Merced Applegate Zoo is under construction with some significant investments being made from additional parties outside of the city of Merced that we'll update you on next meeting. And then Stephen Leonard Youth Center was worked on for the last several years and recently completed. And General Vang Pao Park is in the final stages of engineer and landscape architect design and will be put out for bid next month. Merced Regional Sports Complex. So what's really unique about this facility is it's one of a kind for Merced. It's 40 acres of sports fields. It has concession stands. It has the county's largest shade structure. We will have 5 full-size football, soccer fields. It's a mixed-use facility, so the goal is to make it as flexible as possible as trends change. You know, what's hot this year may not be hot in 10 years, so making sure that it's open green space without too much infrastructure to have to modify. The other unique thing about this facility is the all-inclusive playground. Merced Regional Sports Complex has a 13,000 square foot playground that's been dedicated and built. We're in the final stages of production now with just some mulch being added for fall space or fall zones. And we submitted an application to the California Park and Recreation Society for consideration of the Parks Make Life Better Award, which is awarded to an outside agency, park district, municipality, or a private developer that builds parks that are unique in their design or their development. This playground is unique in the fact that it's the first all-inclusive playground. Some of the features that were included are zero ramp entries, meaning you do not have to take a single step. Councilman DuPont joined me for a tour months ago now. And I got to tell you, one of our funders, Central Valley Opportunity Fund, we took their board on site to walk around this facility and see some of the features. And little did I know, one of their board members has a family member that struggles with limited abilities. And they were brought to tears walking through the playground. And his comment was, "You guys thought of everything. This is a place my daughter can actually play." And that means the world to me and our staff. We are very keenly aware that the best parks and playgrounds are parks and playgrounds where everybody has access. So huge kudos to our staff for backing up the investment and time. This costs very little to the city of Merced when it was all said and done. There is an ARPA allocation for the sports complex overall, but this playground was primarily paid for with county first $5 through their Safe Play initiative and a grant that we were awarded to match those dollars from the playground manufacturer themselves. So kudos to our staff again for working those mechanisms of funding and those partnerships. There's a little bit of a 15 minutes of fame Instagram post for us. We got the award, was it last week? Yes. Last week in Lathrop, we were invited to attend as one of the applicants, and we were actually awarded the Parks Make Life Better Award for California Park and Recreation Society. What you see on the bottom here is, I'm gonna see if we can actually zoom in a little bit. What you see on the left is CP 42 North. So directly next to what's been under construction with soccer fields, flex fields, concession stands, is CP 42 North, which you see in the rich color here. On the right side, you see both campuses directly next to each other with an arterial road going through that was planned for in our general plan to be Winder Road. We hired a consultant late last year who met with community stakeholder groups, youth sports organizations, did an analysis of our region and what sports venues would have the highest return on investment here in Merced based on what the needs of our local and regional area was. And they determined that what you see on the right would be the biggest bang for our buck. So there is no funding allocated to build this yet. This is just a preliminary concept design, but it is based on market analysis. And so this is a pending joint power authority in development with the County of Merced, the City of Merced, Merced County Office of Education, and Merced Union High School District, which currently owns this property to the north of CP 42 South. And through that venture, our hope is to build the biggest regional sports complex between Turlock and Madera. The goal is to house regional tournaments for the middle of the state here at this facility. The CP 42 North complex, you'll notice, is primarily baseball and softball fields, but if you look close enough, there are inlays of soccer pitches in between the baseball and softball fields as well. So all said and told, we will have the opportunity to house tournaments with up to 10 soccer fields running simultaneously, 6 soccer fields in operation, while 3 baseball fields are in operation, or 3 softball fields in operation. The small square to the north or the right side of CP 42 South, it's a reddish orange there. That is an indoor facility. The primary focus of the analysis, or primary feedback from the analysis, was with Merced being in a floodplain and these fields all being natural grass, we're gonna have months where we're not able to rent fields. And so in order to cover operation costs, meet community need and demand, the advice was to significantly consider an indoor facility with at least 2 full-size gymnasiums that can be broken down into several volleyball courts, pickleball courts, tennis courts, et cetera, indoor soccer pitches. So that's the indication there, which would be phase 2B. So once we get the north engineered and fully designed, the next phase of development would be an indoor facility on CP 42 South. This was a request by Commissioner or Chair Huitron, so I want to open up to anybody else on the commission before we get any further into the monthly report, including him if there's any questions on this slide.
I'm hot today. Do we know if there's a bus route over there for people to get there once it's open?
It's a really good question, and no, there is not a bus route now. What I will share, and I'm really excited about this because I think it's a great pilot. What we found is that there's very limited development that's happening just east of this. This is the southeast corner of this area of Merced, but since the city council commitment to move forward on this plan of developing this regional sports complex, the city has reviewed several annexation proposals, which would extend the city area all the way to Highway 99. So between 59 and 99, it would really do some significant infill in that area. There's some other things being considered as well that would almost mandate a bus stop be added in this area. I don't want to speak for Merced County Association of Governments because that's their sector. But I will share that with this investment, it has spurred additional interest in City Council and our partners funding a renovation of Mission Avenue. And so one of the big complaints we get when we share this complex is how are you going to get there? If you drive there, you're going to need a dentist appointment the next day, you know? And so it's a known need that your city council has invested in moving forward with an intermediary fix by doing an overlay over Mission with the potential to do a long-term modification to the road to actually make it a 4-lane instead of a 2-lane. So with that in mind, with this concept, we do take the main entry off of Mission as a future arterial and move it on to Tyler.
There were some issues with the tennis courts. Are those taken care of?
No, we are still working through that. It's a closed session topic, so I can't share too much other than we are still working with the contractor to get those issues fixed. Ms. Lewis?
It's scheduled to be finished in the summer. Do we already have plans for usage in the fall booked out with other facilities here
Not-
or in the valley or
Not-
statewide?
Not quite yet, but we're getting that question a lot right now. So we are migrating all of our reservation programs to a cloud-based service, which will allow for what you see in state park systems where you can reserve facilities online. We really want to get that situated before we open up those opportunities to the community, just because we don't have enough hours in the day to take the reservations for this facility at this point. We do have through that market analysis that we did, we have a pro forma that was provided to us, which really strongly encourages us to utilize this venue as a tournament-based venue on the weekends, supporting local sports on weeknights. So that's going to be the model moving forward. We have had those conversations with our youth service providers who are just as excited to host tournaments here on a routine basis or participate in tournaments here on a routine basis. The unique thing about the size and scale of this venue is the economic opportunities that it presents. As opposed to just supporting local sports like a McNamara or an any sports complex, this really opens up the gates for us to be able to host regional tournaments from visitors across the state. And so the overflow of sales tax and restaurant visits and hotel stays is really what's going to help the city increase the general fund to cover the operating cost of a venue like this.
One other question. It being open, when it is open, are we going to be able to have public access to just like a general park too, or is it all have to be reserved?
It's a good question. It's going to be, so we did a couple of tours with staff and I and maintenance staff to different cities that run sports complexes of this size. Their recommendation was absolutely not unless it's reserved. The reason is the wear and tear that you see at other facilities that limit their revenue generation opportunities are what you don't want to experience at a venue like this, specifically because of what I was sharing about. If you're paying top dollar to reserve this for tournaments or competitive use or even local recreation programs, there's a certain scale and fit and finish that's expected for those costs. And we want to make sure that we're able to maintain that. So we're still working out what that exactly will look like, but to be blunt, it'll be open when there's reservations for anybody to use and pretty limited outside of that.
Okay.
So our hope
including the
is-
playground as well?
Yes, so
Okay.
our hope is that we're going to have community days that our department sponsors, so we know the facility is staffed, it's secure, et cetera, and those will be subsidized through our department. But outside of those unique cases and special events, it would be a reservation-based system.
Okay, and then when it's not open, will we have security provided to kind of gate that off or to keep it monitored?
We are adding
prevent it.
fencing around the facility. We've already identified the need to modify some of those plans. We're working with Merced Police Department to install security cameras throughout the facility as well, and having conversations the rest of this winter and spring with our JPA partners about what additional security features might be necessary moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Further questions? None?
I think I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, if you want to book this complex once open, how long would the wait be for private tournaments?
It's a good question. It really depends on how popular it is. So what we heard from Turlock and my conversations with Ripon, which both have likewise facilities, sometimes it can be 6 months out that it's booked for weekends. It just depends on the season, and tournament directors are business operators. So if they can find something that's not booked sooner, their job is to make money and host those operations. And so it's really fluid. My goal is to make sure that we're not booking anything more than 6 months out. There's too much variability in scheduling. There's too much potential loss in revenue booking anything further out than that. But if you do it any closer than that, it's pretty chaotic for staff. So we're looking at a 6-month window. You're welcome. All right, moving on. Oh, yes, sir.
One more, sorry. The whole campus will be gated, correct?
Yes.
How about let's say you host a soccer tournament, is the futsal court gated, the tennis, the pickleball, are those gated as well?
They are. So futsal is a fenced location, just like the rest of our, let me make it simpler. All of our courts will be fenced other than the basketball courts. Those will just be open. Those aren't reservable other than those days when we're there and it's just open for community use. But the courts are similar to the fields, and that our hope for those is that those are reservable competitive use facilities. All right, moving on. Youth basketball is in mid-season form. We're serving almost 400 young people this season. Of specific note or special note here is this year we started 2 additional divisions. We started a kinder-only division, which packed really, really fast. It's the most fantastic thing you'll ever see on a Saturday morning. So if you have the opportunity to go and watch the kinders play, it's amazing. We also started a girls-only league, which has been extremely popular. We got a lot of feedback from local coaches, both with our NFL flag program and our basketball program, that said our programs are amazing feeders for girls entering the high school level, that they're seeing an uptick in their female sports. And some of the coaches volunteer with us and thanked us for that commitment to making sure that there was divisions carved out specifically for that group of people. So kudos again to our staff and our coaches for stepping up and making that successful. Adult basketball also is in full swing, and Commissioner Holloway, I got an answer for you about the scoreboard. So because we use the practice gym at El Capitan High School, the seats are specifically on one side so that the scorekeepers on the other side of the gym where the plugs are can see the scoreboard for timekeeping and scorekeeping purposes. So typically in a gymnasium, we would have a scoreboard on both sides of the gym behind the baskets. In this case, we're getting what we're allowed to get with our joint use agreement through the high school district. And so we're stuck with that logistic layout right now with that gym.
Do you have a table one you could bring out?
Not yet. Right now, they're all
Okay.
dedicated to the
To
youth
the-
sports
yeah.
programs. A lot of times if we plug into other people's scoreboards, sometimes bulbs go out and we don't want that bill. So we've been really specific about bringing our own. But it is something that we're asking staff to look into next week at our visit with different vendors in the exhibition halls at CPRS.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My back appreciates it.
You're welcome. And I think too, you may recall last year we had some pretty serious incidents with adult basketball that made it quite difficult to continue to operate that. And I want to give a big applause to our coaches who put these teams together. They've done a phenomenal job working with our staff to make sure that the civility of our league is at a place where it allows everybody to participate, including our own staff and our officials, and feel comfortable. It's been a complete turnaround this season, and I want to thank everybody involved for that commitment.
Sorry, I'm gonna continue on that.
Please.
I want to say I love how you guys asked all the teams to have uniforms this year. I think it's very helpful for myself and even my husband. When passing the ball, it's easier to see who's on their team. So I definitely think that should continue on. And I believe this season you guys required like the IDs and everything for the players on the team, which I appreciate and would like to see continue, because I think last season it was like, oh, we need a guy, come on in. And it wasn't fair to an extent. They were like getting the better players to sub in for them. And so I've seen this year it be more fair of that's who's on your team, that's who has a jersey, that's who's going to play. And so I appreciate the changes, and I've seen them from an outsider looking in. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback. And that is the final spot for our report. So unless there's any questions, we will move off of staff reports and on to the next item. Thank you.
Agenda item H, business. Item H1, commission to appoint members to facility use subcommittee to review proposals submitted for lease of Stephen Leonard Youth Center.
Good evening again, Commission. So as you may recall, Stephen Leonard Youth Center unfortunately suffered extensive fire damage and vandalism several years ago, which prevented the city from operating the facility. Since that time, we have brought the facility back online through extensive investments through your city council. And due to the city's interest in decreasing costs and extending recreation opportunities throughout the city, we have proposed a request for interest to the community for consideration. In response to that RFI, or request from interest, we received, I believe it was 6, if not 7, potential vendors for your consideration. In order to review those proposals, we are asking that you form a subcommittee with staff to review and rank them, and then come back later this month for a report on the top applicants according to your review. From that point, the process would include this commission making a formal recommendation for a user to your city council, and your city council will make the final determination for the user of Stephen Leonard Youth Center. Just also for clarification, we have 2 forms of contracts that we offer for youth center operation. One form is a service agreement. This form is specifically a lease agreement, which means all operation costs will be the burden of the vendor. And I believe we may have some public comment for this item.
Yes, Chair, we have 3 requests to speak. Kelly Avila, please come to the podium.
Good evening, Commissioners. Director Jensen, thank you for having me. My name is Kelly Avila. I'm the Vice President of Human Resources for Merced College. It's my pleasure to represent the administration of Merced College in speaking to you about our RFI for Stephen Leonard Park. We are beyond excited for the opportunity. We have been looking for a presence, having our own presence in South Merced. We're hoping that we can be your leasee for Stephen Leonard Park and bring educational programming to youth and families in South Merced. There's so much we could do with this facility. Our plan is, if we are successful, we already have a contract signed to do a survey of the residents of South Merced to ask them exactly what programming they would like to see within that facility and serve their needs. Of course, we're an educational institution, but this year is our 50th anniversary of College for Kids. For those of you who are familiar with the program, we do great programming for children across the city of Merced, Merced County, our whole service area. We would love to bring that to Stephen Leonard Park. Thank you for consideration of our interest, and we hope to speak with you later this month.
Eli Sachs, please come to the podium.
Hi there. How's it going? My name's Eli, and I'm a registered nurse here in Merced. I bought a house here in Merced 17 years ago and been doing community organizing and volunteering in Merced pretty actively over the last 7 years, including being a longtime American Red Cross volunteer. I've deployed 4 times to recovery and sheltering efforts at places like the Camp Fire and the Carson Fire near Tahoe. And I'm really excited. So my organization, LGBTQ Merced, has put together a proposal for the Stephen Leonard Youth Center and created a coalition of 7 different organizations to provide community services at the center. I'm just really excited about this. All 7 of these organizations put on community events already around Merced, but American Red Cross in particular could very much use accessible space. So they currently rent a little office behind the old United Way building, and it's this terrible staircase, and it's not accessible. So if we had access to a larger, more accessible space, we could start to offer more community education programming, including like Prepare with Pedro the Penguin, which teaches kids about fire safety and what to do when the fire alarm goes off. American Red Cross, if you're not familiar already, does community programs like install fire alarms for folks and respond to community home fires. Like I said, we've got a coalition of 7 different organizations actually who already provide services to the community, like free arts and crafts events, support groups for foster youth, and we're prepared to offer a variety of programming in Spanish, English, and Hmong, actually, with all our 7 organizations. So I'm just really pleased to just introduce that to you, and thank you for your time and attention.
Up next, we'll have Crystal Ramos. Please come to the podium.
Hello. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Crystal Ramos. I am a program manager with Youth Leadership Institute, and we have also applied for the Stephen Leonard Community Center. We at YLI offer a variety of youth resources and programs currently. We currently have a location in downtown Merced, but as we've been facilitating programs out of there, it is a limited space, and we are seeing a growing need of more youth programs needed, especially for young people who can't access the downtown area. So our goal at YLI is not only to offer resources and programs, but we want to build a community where youth and their adult allies can create positive change, especially here in the Merced community. We're excited to hear about the opportunity to facilitate at the Stephen Leonard Community Center if we are given the chance, and we're hopeful because the center's location is in South Merced, where it is an underserved area that needs these resources and programs provided to them. And if we are awarded, YLI plans to also survey the local community. Fortunately, we have youth programs that are developed to do that research. So we have young people who are ready to go out and survey the local youth. So it's youth asking youth questions, which is really important to create that closeness with the community. And we want to ask them specifically what are resources or programs that they think that they need in a recreation center, which is really important. And all the data that we collect from the surveys that we do is going to affect our future programming to make sure that we are giving programming that is needed in the community that they see fit. And again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, thank you to all of our applicants that came tonight to share a little bit about their application. Again, tonight, we're not agendized for any action other than setting a subcommittee to help review the applications with staff. And so we're looking for 3 commissioners that can meet the week after next with several of the recreation staff and myself to review these proposals in depth. We can do evenings, we can do during the day. It's up to the commission's availability, but we would like 3 commissioners to sit on that subcommittee with us to review the proposals submitted.
I would be willing. Don't know if that's
Morning would be fine.
I would be willing, but can do evenings.
Same, I can do evenings too.
What I would note, just to keep in mind for commission's consideration is the location of this. So oftentimes commissioners are representing specific, districts in the city of Merced. So it may be part of your consideration and who you elect to be on the subcommittee to review the proposals to make sure that South Merced is represented.
And you can't do evenings at all? Okay. Okay. So there's 4 interested. You need 3?
I don't believe we can do 4 because of Brown Act, so we need 3 maximum.
I don't have to.
Okay, so we have 1 for sure. She represents the district. Thank you. And 3 more, and 2 are flipping the coin for it.
You can take those 3. That's fine. I can step down too, I don't mind.
April? Want me to fight?
It's up to Chris.
No,
It's up to this commission.
it's up to us. So Ms. Lewis, you mentioned you don't have to.
The other thing I think we need to start with is making sure that there's no conflict of interest. So if you're being nominated to be on the commission or the subcommittee, we want to make sure that you wouldn't have to recuse yourself when we come back with the recommendations for the full commission's consideration. So if you work with any of these organizations, if you contract with these organizations, if your kids are in any of the programs that were mentioned, it's something that you need to consider before you nominate yourself to make sure that our nominations or recommendations are protected. But outside of that, you were asking Ms. Lewis if,
Days and times, but I can step down. I'm thinking, I'll step down because I may have interest later on. I don't have something now, but maybe later.
Okay, so there's 3 left. So Ms. April,
I'll do it, yeah.
Ron, and Gonzalez? Okay. Okay, and you mentioned 2 weeks, right? 2 week-ish?
correct.
So it'll be the week of the 16th?
Correct.
What days are good? Evening,
Just evenings.
after 5:30, 6?
After 4?
So
Anytime after 4?
staff's limited to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of that week. So the 17th, 18th, or 19th, the 16th is a council meeting.
17, 18, 19.
You able anytime after 4, Ms. Gonzalez?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
And then,
For me, it's gonna have to be after 6:30. I get out at 5 and I work in Lathrop, so like 6:30.
so 6:30 is the earliest?
Yes.
Can you
If
do
that's
6:30?
Yeah.
Can they do 6:30?
No, they
I know,
can.
but like the staff on
Oh,
parks. I feel like that's so late.
Might take some convincing, but I think we can make it happen.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Tuesday will be fine. Tuesday?
Tuesday, the 17th,
You mentioned
Yeah,
Tuesday's
that
good,
works.
Tuesday?
6:30.
Yeah.
Let me double check.
Tuesday, 6:30 pending.
That's St. Patrick's Day. I'm gonna be at the pub. I'm just kidding. No, that's fine.
Tuesday, the 17th, 6:30. And will it be held here or what?
Unless we'd rather do the 18th, Wednesday, the 18th, if that works. If you'll be available, April.
Yes, I can do 17th, 18th, or 19th. I can't do the 20th. That's it.
How's the 18th?
I can do it at 6:30 still.
Okay,
That will be Wednesday.
6:30, Wednesday, the 18th.
The 18th. Okay.
And then on the 19th on Thursday, I can do after 3:30.
Oh, you could do earlier Thursday.
That would be preferable, I'm sure,
That's fine.
for our team. So Thursday instead of Wednesday at 4,
Yeah, that works.
Thursday or Wednesday?
Thursday at 4 p.m.
The 19th.
Going once. Okay.
No, I can, on Thursday, yes.
Just-
4 p.m.
Is the location your office, or where will it be?
Yes, correct. We will meet in our office and we will need to complete the ranking as a subcommittee that day so that Friday, the 20th, we have the agenda report ready for commission on the 23rd to bring back.
Okay, so just for record, the subcommittee that will review and rank proposals submitted for the lease of Stephen Leonard Youth Center will be Commissioner members Gonzalez, Holloway, and Abong.
Yes.
All right. Agenda item H2, request to add item to future agenda.
Can we get a train update if it's gonna be ready, or the Kittyland update?
Oh, that's an easy one. Yes, we'll bring that one.
And I guess these aren't update. I'd skip. Okay, I'm done.
Can we also get a update on the McNamara Park, the fields and cost and timeline?
Are you speaking specifically about the turf renovation that's needed?
Yes,
Okay.
and then also the grass too. I think there's divots in there, and I've heard there's injuries that have been happening.
Okay.
And I guess also an update on Joe Erd Park nets.
Anything, Commissioner Bauer? Commissioner Gonzalez? Mom? Okay, those are it.
Agenda item H3, commission comments.
April?
I want to say the bathrooms at the parks have been pretty clean. I'm pretty impressed with how they're being maintained. Is the Merced Police Department still locking those up?
Yes, correct. We have a relationship with Merced Police Department that we're leveraging each evening. So it is not the priority for sure, but based on calls for service as allowable, they go and make sure that the restrooms are cleared and locked for the evening. And I'm happy to hear that that's the public's perspective as well. We also got compliments from our facilities division of Public Works who shared the same sentiment that when they get there in the morning, they've been a lot cleaner since we're locking those up. So I appreciate that feedback. And then our Public Works facilities staff daily open, pressure wash, and stock the restrooms.
Yeah, definitely saw improvement there. I also just have like a suggestion for the Bob Hart Square area. I thought it'd be really fun if maybe the parks can sponsor like a watch party while the FIFA World Cup is going to be happening here in the US and North America. I went to one in Germany when the World Cup was there in 2006. It brought a lot of that community there. A lot of people who traveled would go to the locations where they knew watch parties were happening, that they couldn't necessarily afford to go to the game itself, but wanted to be in the states where it was happening. So I thought it'd be a good idea to bring to you guys, hosting a watch party. Soccer is really big. We're putting all of these soccer fields in, and I thought it'd be fun to generate money to the community, to the downtown area. Let's, I still haven't been to Bob Hart Square, the new, so it'd just be a way to get people here to go. Just thought it'd be fun, so just trying to add more to your job. But yes, thank you.
Further comments, questions? We're good.
Agenda item I, adjournment.
Okay, do I have a Motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
One. Second.
I second it.
We have motion and a second.
Okay,
She's gonna reset it. And let's vote.
so the first motion was by Commissioner Member Lewis, second by Commissioner Member Bauer.
No.
Holloway, okay, correction. Second was by Commissioner Member Holloway.
Okay.
All right.
6:47. We'll see you next month. Thank you.
6:47.